Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come. The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. Place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
Hey there, it's Mike Mayo. Do you like steaks? Do you like seafood? Do you like classic old Florida charm? You could get that all and more at Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of 95. The Studiali family, they've been running the place a long time. It's been there more than 70 years. And it is now a place you can get early bird specials along with steaks to take home and throw on the grill yourself at the Butcher Shop. That's open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. It's open for dinner every night starting at 4:30, but they are closed on Sundays. Go to Tropical Acres. It's a place to go for a great meal, great people, good value. Tropical Acres.
Buy or lease a house and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy. New inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat, 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
John Gruden. It did appear, and I mentioned this on social media, Lubie, that he was having his emails ghostwritten by John Rocker, didn't it? Very parallel line of thinking, huh? Gays, no good. Black people, no good. Women, no good. It was ugly, right? I don't know. The only people he spared, really, I mean, it was like Moses came down from the mountaintop with the tablets there and said, please, spare the Jews.
To see what's going on in the NFL is as a result of Gruden, and then what's happening on the field. It's been remarkable, absolutely remarkable. But I think COVID has had such an impact all over on every sport in some form or fashion, and we're watching it play out now.
Everybody's machina. Use one of your favorite words there, Tony. Everybody's crazy. They don't know what to do. This Gruden thing is interesting on many fronts, and not the least of which, as Libby and I were discussing, is he spared the Jews. He did. Which I thought was very generous of him. We were probably the only people that he didn't disparage in an email to the Washington football team. Now, I know
only you would come up with that. Only you. And here we have a very serious and people don't want to joke about situation, and you would come up with that.
What else can you say? John Gruden, no, I mean, at least this, right? At least he spared the Jews. At least he spared the Jews.
He did. He made you talk crap about everyone but the Jews.
He didn't say anything about Julian Edelman, which is good. Is Edelman Jewish? We don't even know.
Yes, he's Jewish, but
born Jewish. There were no disparaging remarks made about the Jews. Everybody else, it was open season. It really was. I mean, we talk about a harpoon. We have put forth to Roger Goodell, who's got a lot of issues that he's dealing with right now with Gruden and all the different things that he had to say. Although he did spare the Jews, we were happy about that.
Yes.
As far as we know, we haven't seen. I spent most of last night, Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet, reading through, I guess, the first 372,000 of those 650,000 emails, just to see if there was anything else there. Maybe somebody else, should be on the hook. But nonetheless, Gruden was the one that got all the attention. But are you in favor of the idea that the losing team in the Dolphins-Jaguars game, all right, here comes the joke, the losing team should forfeit their passports and not be allowed back in the country? This has happened in the past. There's a precedent there. There was talk that they might leave Joe Philbin there when the Dolphins got off to yet another poor start during his brilliant tenure here.
Well, here's the thing. I think they should take a page out of Ted Lasso, and the loser of this game gets relegated to the lower league, and actually make them start a British soccer team, and then maybe Brian Flores could be the next Ted Lasso.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvasav v'tivanu lahadlik ner shel Hanukkah. I just didn't want to get into jackpot with our fellow tribesmen there, because that might have been a little bit of overkill, all of those examples of our conversation about how Gruden had spared the Jews. Good morning, everybody. Good to be with you here on Ion Channel. I'm Jeff DeForest, my partner. And the guy that you see on the screen there is one Mike Lubie Lubitz. Don't be bothered or concerned at all about Lubie's bizarre antics when he's now showing up on camera, because we really weren't used to this. We were doing radio together for 11 years here in South Florida, but rarely were we in any kind of a visual situation. So a lot of people are telling me that you are either sending some kind of signals to a gambling syndicate in Russia, or you're just one strange cat. That you have a lot of bizarre physical antics while you're on the show here. And hopefully I'm front and center on camera and you guys can see what I look like. Great to be with you here on Ion Channel. Jack Neymar, again, rolling a dice on a Wednesday. And all of the good people there putting together this new configuration for us. And we couldn't be happier than to be here. We have a lot to cover on the program. And I often get into this story. For those of you that are new, that are tuning in, and Jack is telling me that, and he's able to track this stuff. He has numerology on top of numerology. I mean, the guy's a veritable Rene Descartes. And he's telling me, you know what? You got numbers in Spain right now. Numbers in Spain. And that's great. And I don't know if you guys in Spain are inclined to go to a Texas Roadhouse or take advantage of any of our fine sponsors and the great things that they do. You want to go punch away on the ponies? Just fly on over to the States here, you people in Spain, and head to Hialeah Park, which I did get word that there's a possibility, and we have to, again, inject sound effect. Because finally, Florida, which is in the state of Florida, has been in the Stone Age forever. I mean, we're still operating by blue laws. I don't even know if you can buy a beer before 12 o'clock on Sunday. I'm not sure what religious cult is responsible for the legislation that takes place. But essentially, Florida is structured this way. We're here in South Florida, which is very hip and up with modern times. And once you get, would you say, north of Palm Beach, Mike Lubie Lubitz, West Palm Beach, Florida, for those unfamiliar with the geography of the state, if you get like 30 miles out of town here, forget about it. It's Hillbilly City. You're hearing banjo music, and somebody's telling you to squat down like a pig when you pull up to the Waffle House. It's just the way it is. You were in Tallahassee there. What about those 7 years you spent at Florida State, Libby? Did you find it to be a little bit unusual, the atmosphere there and the general philosophical thinking of the people of Tallahassee and the northern parts of Florida?
People were nice and sweet. The problem is, again, like you said, I'm from here. So like after the first year, everyone's saying hello to you and driving 15 miles an hour in a 45 mile an hour zone gets really friggin' frustrating. And there is not everywhere, but you can tell there's a different mentality when it comes to all cultures in certain areas of there, as opposed to
that would be right wing, man. They're flapping that right wing. Old Donnie Boy did pretty well up there, and so did Ron DeSantis. Tallahassee, probably one of those swing areas in the state that drives everything towards the far right. I mean, we're talking way out there to the right. That one's going to be well into the stands there, Joe. I don't think the right fielder had a chance at that. All right, we have to get into some stuff here, but anyway, we might be getting some sports betting here at some of
Nice.
our favorite locations. It was approved as of October 15th, but we don't have it yet because this is Florida. That's right. Why give the people what they want? You don't want to do that right away. Even though we voted for it and everybody's in favor of it, and they signed a pact there. It was a clandestine meeting between DeSantis and the head of the Seminole tribe. And they said, you guys want this exclusively? Okay, no problem. And there it was. It was like Don King handing an attache full of cash to Adelaide Bird, saying, listen, you give every round to De La Hoya. No, King wouldn't have been in favor of that. But certainly with Canelo Alvarez, some of that took place, right? When Golovkin beat the crap out of him for 8 of the 12 rounds, and somehow he won it. 118, 110. What a surprising announcement that was. Well, you know what, Joe? I tell you what, I don't know what fight she was watching. She was watching her bank account.
Exactly.
Some Swiss bank all of a sudden had registered a 10-figure deposit on the behalf of Adelaide Bird. But anyway, it's a strange place, and it's very nice to hear that information. It's not official yet by any stretch of the imagination. I got that from one of our great confidants there that might be happening at Hialeah Park, might be happening at Gulfstream Park. Might be a premature evaluation on my part also. We'd hate to see all of that go up in smoke, but certainly would bode well for the future of this show if people started sending it in at some of our fine sponsorship locations. And we're very much in favor of that. That's right.
Yeah.
And we're hoping they send it in. I have to, I guess, get into this right away. Once again, my man, Greg Peterson, in the Brent Musburger Barry America campaign, he did it again last night. Now, I've only been following this for the last couple of days because I was out of town plunging. And I did miss out on a great opportunity, and I received considerable grief from both Evan Don't Mention My Name and Jersey Kyle Martinez, who should be making his first official appearance on the show on our Degenerate Friday. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work out yet, but because we are experimenting a little bit, and the great news is we've made it here 3 days in a row. The first day was a little bit of a helter-skelter. I don't want to use words like cluster bleep, but nonetheless, I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen there. And you're hoping that the guy that you're dealing with, in this case, Jack Neymar, doesn't pull the plug on it the first day.
Exactly.
Like they did on our last day there at Fox Sports Radio, when they not only pulled the plug, but they had us standing with 1 foot in a bucket of water and dropped it right in there. That's a live wire. Be careful. Your hair was even standing up like Don King.
Yes, it was.
Before I mentioned Don King on this one. But I was out of town and having a good time. I took a lot of flack because I wanted to go to the fabled harness track there, the Red Mile, which has a casino. Now, the place essentially as a casino, I would have to say in Lexington, Kentucky, somewhat of a dump, right? It's the old Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf thing. What a dump this place is. Jersey Kyle and I went there a couple of trips back when we went to Keelan. We spent some time out there, and we were eating dollar hot dogs and drinking dollar beers and having a good time punching away on the late races at Remington Park. It wasn't necessarily the greatest entertainment venue that I've ever been to, but it did kill the time at night, as opposed to saying, is that a squirrel climbing up that tree, when you're sitting on the Courtyard by Marriott Hotel balcony there, which is not exactly like looking out over the ocean in Oahu. But anyway, I never got to the Red Mile, but it led to this. Now, do you remember vivid dreams, Lubie? Because I woke up, it was a startling wake-up call this morning. At about 20 to 6, I woke up and I was like, whoa, what the hell was that? And I was dreaming that I was in a celebrity harness race.
What?
Which might have been inspired. The Red Mile is a fabled harness track. And I want to say that they held a Hamiltonian there for the initial stages, for a long time, the initial stages of its beginnings. The Hamiltonian, which is the biggest event in harness racing, it would be the Kentucky Derby of harness racing, the Hamiltonian. And it's an arduous task for any harness horse because they actually have to run more than once in the same day. Can you imagine doing that?
What?
It's like trying to have sex a second time at 70. Forget about it. Can you granulate that Viagra? I'll just snort it like I was that Dolphins offensive line coach. What's his name? Forster or something like that? Where is he today? Is he in line for the LSU job? Because everybody with an O at the end of their name is turning it down. Dabo's out. Jimbo's out.
Yep.
Harpo's out. Chico's out. Zeppo's out. They're all removing their name from consideration for the LSU coaching job. Eddie O, by the way, speaking of O's, is going to get a sweet $17 million to walk away. How about that? When Tony Segreto joins us for old school, do I bring that up? Because he hates when I rub his nose in this kind of stuff. Because he wants to talk about the sanctimony and the beauty and the intrinsic and inherent good that is college sports, let's face it, it's a bloodbath of a business, is it not? They're going to pay a guy at a state school $17 million to go away. That's after he won a national championship a season and a half ago, and Eddie O's overall record is something like 47-16 at Louisiana State. That is not good enough, Tony Segreto. He's going to join us later on Old School. But how do you have $17 million to fire a guy? How crazy is that?
Yeah, but it's not business. Forrester, by the way, is actually an offensive line coach still for the San Francisco 49ers. We actually have a pretty good offensive line.
There's a lot of weed up there. I know that. I don't know about the availability of cocaine, but judging by the quality of the cocaine he was snorting when he was a head or offensive line coach with the Dolphins, surprisingly, he wasn't escalated right after that incident to head coach. That would have made perfect sense. But, yeah, San Francisco still in the league, huh? After that? Are you kidding me? You talk about second chances?
I mean, come on.
It's like the old days in radio when the general manager would walk in and you were snorting lines off the desk and off the equipment while you were on the air, and you're thinking, oh, geez, man, I'm going to get fired from this job. I just got it. And the guy would go, you mind if I have a bump? NFL is all over the place, too, when it comes to their morality. I mean, let's face it. If you don't believe that, that's a business, and their business is certainly not trying to improve the human condition. If you're following that false line of logic. Anyway, I often bring this up because he was a good friend of mine and a mentor to me and the all-time king of the live spot, the live endorsement. And that was my old buddy, may rest in peace, Ron Harrison. And I couldn't help but think of him last night as I was watching the Dodgers game against the Atlanta Braves. Now, I have an interest in the series, kind of a subliminal interest in the sense that I had a mind bet on the Braves to win the World Series this year. I thought they were knocking on the door last year. They just kind of couldn't get by the Dodgers there in that championship series. And I thought if any team is primed to go to the World Series this year, it's the Atlanta Braves. So do I pull the trigger on this? Probably what? I bet you could have gotten 6-7-1 on the Atlanta Braves before the season. What do you think, Lubie? I mean, they were obviously contenders. It's not like this was some far-fetched thing and I had plunged down $2,000 on the Kansas City Royals to win it all. But the Atlanta Braves, I thought that they were going to win the World Series this year, and they still may, right? It's not out of the question. Although, and they were well on their way. I mean, they were in the driver's seat. They were one pitch away, basically, from being on their way to the World Series. 3-0 in the series. If they win that game last night, they're up 5-2. It's the 8th inning. The Dodgers are doing nothing. They had a 2-run homer to start the game against Charlie Morton in the first inning by Sager, and the next thing you know, could not score. A series of goose eggs, 0.0, Mr. Plutarski. They had that all the way going to the 9th, and they were making feeble at-bats. The Atlanta bullpen was just mowing them down like they were standing still there, like they had balsa wood in their hands instead of a bat. And it looked ugly. The fans were leaving. Did you catch that? Fans were leaving. They had shots of the cars driving away. They always talk about that with Los Angeles crowds. They arrive late, and they leave early. These guys were out of there, a disgrace to the great legacy of Vin Scully that pull up a chair and stay a while. That's one place, though, you would definitely want to consider beating the traffic. In fact, if you got there in the 4th inning, you might want to leave in the 5th. Regardless of the score. But the atmosphere was good there, and the fans were still hopeful. A lot of them had their hands over their face. Did you catch any of the crowd shots? The TNT people were all over crowd shots. I guess this was on TBS, which is also TNT, because TNT, wow, this snuck up on me, Lubie. We didn't even mention this yesterday. Can you believe we have a sports show? Worldwide sports show, video, audio, our own streaming channels. People are diving on board. They're saying all kinds of great things about what we're doing here on the show. I didn't even realize that it was opening night of the basketball season last night. Did you?
I did, but we didn't talk too much basketball. So I think get to it today. Yes, last night opened the NBA 2021-2022 campaign.
And they opened it up with a ding-dong doubleheader, did they not? With our man Ian Eagle on the call with Stan Van Gundy on the first game. We said it all along. Ian's going to join us frequently on the show. I think you guys will really enjoy Ian Eagle, who looks kind of straight-laced, does he not? When he's on TV, and does a great job. Brilliant play-by-play announcer, obviously, or he wouldn't have the kind of positions that he has achieved and risen to today. Including, and we know that Jim Nance is shaking in his boots at the mirror. Nance, if you're watching, Eagle's coming for you. It's only a matter of time. They're going to have to find a way to contain the babbling now, the just idle rambling of Tony Romo, who seems to have lost his mind in his stream of consciousness. People say that about me. Well, you know what? That stream of consciousness, you're all over the place. Because I still have to get back to Musburger and his Barry America thing here. But, you know, in the meantime, we spent 20 minutes going another direction. So far be it from me to criticize this way of performing. But Romo is just a babbling fool, right? I mean, if Romo was sitting in a doorway in New York City and you had just got off a subway train, you would throw him $1. Say, wow, that poor bum, man. I tell you what, I don't know what he's talking about. You know, he's reciting Shakespeare or something, but certainly the guy deserves a break. And Nance is sitting there, you know, just kind of on the sidelines, watching this guy implode on TV and go from being, I mean, and he has to be a little bit concerned about the idea that how are they paying Nance like $18 million a game? I mean, Romo, $18 million a game. And Nance is still like, have they ever finished negotiations with him for some kind of contract extension? I don't believe so. And why is that, Lubie? Because of Iron Eagle working in the background. So Marv retires. Marv Albert, the great Marv Albert. Yes! He retires. And who's next in line? It could be hollering Kevin Harlan. It could be what? Who else does play-by-play for TBS? You would have to think Harlan was the number one candidate to be the first guy up and get the marquee game. Did he do the Lakers game against Golden State? I didn't catch too much of that. And apparently the Lakers were atrocious in the game last night with Russell Westbrook, who's one of my favorite players. I really enjoy Russell Westbrook, although, you know, I mean, people could have concerns about the fact that he does seem to be, I don't know, his ball hog a fair thing? How can he be a ball hog when he always gets double-digit assists like every night?
He's ball centric. He gets the ball out to people.
That's a good word. Nice one, Luke.
But that's the truth. Like, he has to have the ball in his hand, which is the big question because LeBron always has to have the ball in his hands.
True. And there are players like that. Look, I mean, that's okay if you have that kind of player on your team. When James Harden, this was a big surprise. It was kind of like that John Travolta dance movie. What was that, Night Fever or something? Where his mother says, who knew that he had these kind of exotic moves? I mean, who knew that James Harden could distribute the basketball, maybe even at a higher level of competence than he does shoot the basketball? When last year, he really kind of inspired the Nets to take, let's not forget, they took the Milwaukee Bucks while compromised to within an eyelash of winning that series in 7 games, the Brooklyn Nets. And, you know, so that was the marquee game last night, I thought. Anyway, Lakers, I guess, are always going to get top consideration anytime LeBron is on the floor. I think it's mandated by Adam Silver. You make sure this game is built up more than any other game. And rightfully so. I mean, LeBron at 47 years old still looks like he's 15. It's incredible. And had a good ball game last night, although Russell Westbrook had a, what would it be? If you had a triple-double, he had a triple single last night, which I would imagine that hasn't happened to him in centuries, Russell Westbrook. And the Lakers went down to the Golden State Warriors, who are still playing without Klay Thompson. And you were thinking, wow, how is that possible? The Lakers, were they the ones that were on the chicken circuit last year? They actually have like a whole new team, Lubie. Did you know they only have 3 players left on their roster from a year ago?
Oh, wow. I know they added Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony. I didn't realize they changed out everybody.
Everybody's gone, yeah. The bald guy with the headband, he's gone. The guy that was hustling all over the place, and where did he end up? He took some money and exited. Who was the guy? Alex something, right?
Oh, your guy Caruso.
Caruso, yeah.
Caruso, that's your guy.
I don't know. I'm blanking here. It's early in the morning, and I'm staring into a very bright light.
Love Caruso.
All right. Before we, and Tommy Hutton's going to join us here. If you're not familiar, if you're around the world somewhere and you haven't heard the show before, you're not familiar with Tommy Hutton. He is the baseball analyst for the Miami Marlins and was for a long time there on every day's broadcast, now doing some pre and post game, in-game stuff. This is a guy who at 70-something, he's not ashamed to admit his age because he shouldn't be.
No, he's
looks like he could be on the cover of GQ. He's a scratch golfer, and he spent, I want to say, 15 years in the major leagues. Montreal Expos. He was a Dodger, grew up in L.A., and he was a Dodger when they had, like, Wes Parker playing first base for them. And he was a first baseman, so obviously he wasn't going to sniff a lot of at-bats there with Wes Parker, probably one of the greatest defensive first basemen and also a fine hitter in baseball history. Not mentioned too often among the greats, Lubie. You ever hear Wes Parker brought up? Only by Tommy Hutton. Who and I have to have Tommy revisit when he went to his first spring training. There were like 4 first basemen, almost all of that caliber on the Dodgers roster. And he's thinking, maybe I could slide in there as their 5th option. But and he has the distinction of never being hit by a pitch in 1,500 major league at-bats. He could have been in the bigs 15 years if he only had
15 years. I just looked it up. He played 15 years.
15 years. Wow.
And never got
All right,
hit.
he's going to join us. And there's a lot of great baseball to talk about. Wow. Just as the fans were leaving in Los Angeles last night, we had Cody Bellinger had a horrible season, an inexplicable, horrible, complete drop-off, and fell into an abyss this year. Cody Bellinger, one of the best Dodgers that we've seen come on the scene in recent years, and he can't buy a base hit. He hit, what, was he below the Mendoza line, Cody Bellinger, this year? Did he hit like under 200?
I know he had a horrible year, yet he has the 2 biggest hits of their season so far.
Well, and he, sure enough, after a couple of, not exactly crushed base hits by the Dodgers, they had a guy hit one off the end of the bat that kind of curled around the first base bag and fell for a single. And then next guy up hits one through the middle, but the infielders were spread out like the Red Sea. Shortstop deep in the hole on the left side of the infield. The second baseman, for some reason, was way over to the right. And this ball creeps through the middle there, just dribbles through the middle. And now you have first and second. And I want to say there were 2 away at that time. First and second, 2 away. And Cody Bellinger at the plate. Bellinger had been okay in the postseason. He started to show signs of life, but certainly had a completely down year by any standard, much less his own.
You know, he batted 165. 165.
Horrendous. I mean, the guy literally, if they threw a beach ball up there and gave him an aluminum bat, he couldn't have taken it out of the infield. Incredible. And so, but he's come alive a little bit in the postseason. Still a little bit of a risk. I think he was hitting 300 on 6 for 20. And he ends up just jacking one out of the park after the commentators were talking about, don't go for the home run. His first swing, he fell to his knees. It was Ruthian. And he missed it by a mile. And the commentators started getting on him going, hey, listen, Cody, you had a lousy year, man. You didn't earn that money this season. Just go for a base hit. Make some contact. You got first and second. You're down 3 runs. You need to get back into the game. So then all of a sudden, second pitch comes in. Whoosh, he takes another gargantuan swing. And you could feel the wind all the way here in South Florida from Chavez Ravine. And misses that thing by 3 feet. And then here comes a high fastball. He parks it right out of the ballpark. 5-5. And then the Dodgers scratch out another run with Mookie Betts, who's having a sensational playoff series. And he ends up doubling in the game-winning run. And Kenley Jansen comes in the 9th, which is scary. That's like a lot of those Marlin relievers. We'll get into that with Tommy Hutton when he comes on the show. Remember Antonio Alfonseca when he would come in? And the Marlins would be trying to protect a 1-run lead. And the first thing he would do is walk a guy, hit a guy, and give up an infield hit. Bases loaded, nobody out. Well, we'll see if Jack McKeon's going to let him work his way out of this one. And Jack, they'd have a shot of Jack in the dugout, and he was
He passed out.
Jack, bags are juiced. And he would look up and go, and so am I.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, all right, to get back to what we were talking about 25 minutes ago, Greg Peterson writes for Vegas Sports Information Network. I get this little thing here it is right here. They have a little box featured in the New York Post, which they obviously are getting some cash. Or who's funneling cash to whom in this situation? Is it Musburger paying the Post to carry his piece, Vegas Sports Information Network, or is the Post paying for this syndicated material here that is put out by Greg Peterson, their baseball handicapper, where yesterday, 2 days ago, he told you to go ahead and bet out on the Astros based on their pitcher, Urquidy, who pitches for the Astros. Yesterday, I juxtaposed things and said he was pitching for the Red Sox, but we were a little nervous about the start of the show. And then, of course, they went down. They got crushed like a grape, and we're losing 9-0 after 3 innings, his side. And then last night, he says, go with Charlie Morton, old Charlie Morton. How does Charlie Morton throw the ball at 97 miles an hour with that breaking pitch that he has and not just get everybody out? And I think Morton's like in his 40s. He's older than George Blanda, isn't he? Charlie Morton, it's been around forever. This guy was with the Rays, always clutch postseason performers. So the logic, once again, brilliant. And it just goes to show you, and as we embrace sports wagering coming to South Florida, maybe at Hialeah, maybe at Gulfstream Park, people will be plunging. Be careful, my friends. Be very careful. Again, the soundest of logic dictates that the Braves are going to win this game. And guess what, Lubie? Until the 8th inning, when the impossible happened, and a 163 hitter like Bavacqua knocks one out of the park for a 3-run home run, Tommy Lasorda had to be just absolutely screaming from his grave. Don't put Bellinger up there. Pinch hit for him. And sure enough, the most sound of logic goes up in smoke whenever there's money involved in a game. And the Dodgers get back in a series now, and you have to think they feel pretty good about themselves because they were absolutely finished. They would have been down 3-0. They got jobbed on a call there. The umpiring particularly hideous in both ball games last night. It was a big factor in both games. Red Sox also yielded 7 runs after 2 were away in the 9th inning of a 2-2 tie ball game. And so they lost, and then that evened up that series with the Red Sox and the Houston Astros at 2 apiece. So the Dodgers still alive. They'll play again today. We mentioned basketball. That got underway last night. Who had the biggest or the best big three? We asked that question all last year, right? Who are we comparing the Nets to? The Lakers? When the Lakers acquired Westbrook, I guess that became a question also of interest. Who has the best big three in the NBA?
The problem is who has a big three, because right now Irving is not a part of a big three in Brooklyn. So I guess
no shot, no play, right? That's it. Adam Silver doesn't even want to touch this thing. He's like, ain't my problem. I don't know what to say. Why don't you go ask the people in New York what they're thinking about this? I don't know. Is it selfish of Kyrie Irving? I mean, look, I'm a big advocate of getting the vaccine. I already got the booster shot. And guess what? I'm fine, people.
Good man.
It doesn't mean that I'm going to go running around. And I didn't want to go to that Midnight Madness at Kentucky. I actually was reluctant on my own part. I used Evan as a shield, saying, hey, I'm with a guy. He's eccentric. He doesn't want anybody coming in contact with people while he's on a trip with them. And that was just an excuse because, I don't know, would you feel comfortable going into the Rupp Arena, 20,000 screaming Kentucky students in this era of COVID-19? Mike Lubitz, I mean, are you comfortable? No masks, no nothing. Spit flying everywhere. Let's go, Cats, Cats, right? You have to say that Burgoo is coming out of their lips and shooting across the arena.
I don't mind being around people, but yeah, being in an enclosed area with thousands of people, I'm not judging others. I still haven't done that yet. You know, I'm slowly working.
I mean, I could have lived without it. I would have gone. I would have been okay, but I could have lived without it. But is it fair to say that this is selfish on the part of Kyrie Irving, even from the standpoint of, I mean, should you be doing anything that you can to help your team? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to judge that. If the guy doesn't want to get this vaccination, who am I to tell him that he has to? And to the tune of what? Like, is he going to lose all of this money that he's making? I don't think so. I think they have to pay him like half the money or something for his contract. But anyway, that being said, and we thought this, who has the better big three if Kyrie Irving is with the Brooklyn Nets? And you're talking about Kevin Durant, of course, James Harden, capable of scoring 60 a game, and Kyrie Irving, who we've seen take over ball games and be just absolutely magnificent. Nobody better finishing at the cup, as they say, than Kyrie Irving in the game of basketball today. Even, I mean, that's saying a lot, is it not? There are a lot of great guards that can finish well and players that finish at the basket. But Kyrie Irving is absolutely fantastic at converting layups that I normally, and you normally, Lubie, would completely brick. Impossible. But is it the Brooklyn Nets with Durant, Harden, and Irving, or the former band Cream, Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce, and the great Ginger Baker? All right, speaking of greatness, Tommy Hutton going to join us next. You guys are really going to enjoy Tommy Hutton. If you're not familiar with Tommy, and the people in town, of course, know of this man's legitimate baseball intuition. And we'll talk to him about the postseason in Major League Baseball. Tommy Hutton, former Major League Baseball player, going to join us here on Eye on Channel. Glad to have you with us around the world. I'm Jeff DeForest. That man over there is Mike Lubitz, and we will be back with more in a moment. Now that the time 7:34. Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo for Even Keel Fish Shack, corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard at Lauderdale by the Sea. It's my favorite place now for great seafood in a casual beachfront setting. They've got happy hour 4 to 7 Monday through Friday. They've got great dishes like grilled oysters and oysters on the half shell, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, octopus. They also have burgers and chicken for those who don't like the seafood. They're open 7 days a week for a lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack. Go say hi to Dave and Brad and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Recently we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. Tommy Hutton, we love you. Enjoy the rest of the playoffs. I hope we get to talk to you again next week or sometime very soon before it all concludes, because it's always a pleasure, my friend. And thank you so much for being with us.
Be happy to. And bottom line is, I am older than you are.
Older than Defo.
But you look a lot better, my friend.
You're the best.
Well preserved. You're using that Minervini Botox or something.
The morning just isn't right without Defo. It's now time for the Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show on Ion Channel. I'm Jeff DeForest along with Mike Lubie Lubitz, the Defo Show with Mike Lubie Lubitz. He's worked his way officially into the title and the credits on the program. Now, if you're familiar with our work here, and those of you in South Florida have heard us and around the world on the iHeartRadio app for many, many years together here on the program, and we're offered many illustrious guests to have participate with us on the show. In fact, Lubie, his phone was just buzzing last night. He had it on vibrate, fortunately. Otherwise, he might have had a heart attack. They offered us Billy Bean to analyze the postseason. We said, we got a better guy. They offered us Mel Allen from the grave to analyze the postseason and talk about baseball here on the show. And we said, sorry, Mel, you know what? Baseball and Valentine, one of the greatest taglines in the history of broadcasting. That wraps up another season. But we love our favorites here. And among our favorites all time is this next gentleman here on the program. Of course, still with the Marlins broadcast team on Fox Sports. Although anything on Fox Sports, you might be on some thin ice. We welcome to the show. We weren't expecting to get fired. We welcome to the show the great baseball analyst, longtime major leaguer, and just a tremendous individual. The great Tommy Hutton joins us here on the program. Tommy, how are you, my friend?
Well, with the Mel Allen reference, I have to say, how about that?
There you go.
But
Nice.
first of all, you have to. I know you're on. It took me a while because me being of another generation to figure out all this stuff. I mean, AM radio I could deal with.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden you're on this iHeart stuff. It took me a while to follow all this through, but it is Bally Sports now, not Fox.
Oh, that's right.
I
Yes,
remember
that's
that. You
right.
can actually
That's good. Bought out by casino interests. I think that's favorable. Yes.
Yeah, and you can actually throw a few wagers in during the game on different things if you notice when you're watching some of the postseason games now.
I'm very much in favor of that, as you know.
No.
You're well aware of. I would have bet my bottom dollar that the Dodgers were dead, though, last night when they sent Cody Bellinger to the plate. And that's one of the great things about Major League Baseball and baseball at any level, for that matter. I mean, here comes – I don't know that he would have been the last guy that you would have wanted to see with an at-bat there. He was doing well. He kind of shown some signs of life here in the postseason. I think he was 6 for 20 coming into that at-bat. But who could figure that this guy would not only be below the Mendoza line for a season, but well below? And Lubie said he hit 163 this year. I mean, those are titanic struggles. And what's great about the game, who, of course, is going to get up there in a heroic spot and hit a 3-run home run, but Cody Bellinger, while the fans were already streaming onto the 110 freeway on their way back to Hollywood.
Yeah, it's amazing who steps up in postseason. It's always maybe some guy who's not a regular, but in Bellinger's case, a guy who just had a horrendous year. I always think it's interesting when guys answer questions after a hit like that. And I think he was asked, was he looking for that fastball? Because he had seen a pitch the same area, not quite as high actually, fastball that was thrown by him, and they were interviewing him after the game. Looked for that pitch, and he didn't want to show his hand. And sure, he was looking for that pitch.
Yeah,
because it was out of the strike zone, and you don't hit that pitch, that high fastball, that way unless you're looking for it, get around on the way he did. But that was a huge moment, and that's a huge moment for the Dodgers, because if they lose that game, they're down 3-0, and all of a sudden they have all kinds of life. They have the Braves number at Dodger Stadium. The Atlanta really struggles in that ballpark. So for them to win that game last night was huge.
And, people see a climactic moment or seeming climactic moment like the Bellinger home run to get him back in the game. But, of course, they manufactured a run right after that. And unnoticed, I mean, how hot is Mookie Betts so far in this postseason?
Yeah, that's why because of what I understand, these are just the rumors I hear, Defo, that you had a rough weekend with the horses.
No, it was beyond rough, Tommy. I was at the Red Mile playing slot machines, on Sunday night trying to get out.
That's why you need to think about Mookie Betts when he comes up in a key situation. Yeah, you know what? I wish he was in the National League East so we could see him all the time. We don't get to see him that much because he's a guy, and there are very few playing right now, but he's a guy who can win a game in all kinds of different ways, with his legs, with his arm, with his defense, with his hitting, with his power. I mean, he is a treat, and I'm sure Red Sox fans would love to still have Mookie Betts.
We're here on Ion Channel, ionchannel.com/the-Defo-show. Also, you can hear us streaming Defo and Lubie.com/live, talking with the one and only Tommy Hutton of Bally Sports, Florida. Talks Marlins, talks everything here with us. We're a big fan of his. All right, Tommy, what's interesting to me, and we talk about it a lot with basketball, the playoffs were riddled with injuries, right? And you saw these teams fall out. The Braves have been playing without one of the top 5 or so players in baseball. Ronald Acuna Jr., one of the most exciting guys in all of baseball. It hasn't phased them. They played almost better. How did that happen in baseball so often, where you saw with the Brewers, like last year, without Yelich, where these teams galvanize, come together, and it's like they almost get stronger sometimes as a group when they're out without their number one guy?
Well, I think in the case of the Braves, the fact that Acuna's been out so long, and that they were able to, kudos to their organization by putting together trades and getting Duvall and getting Peterson, Rosario, adding those guys to the outfield has been incredible. And so I think if Acuna maybe had gone down in the middle of September, it's a different story. But they've been able to sustained without him for quite a while, and a lot of that's because of the terrific moves they made. So you give them credit there, and in the case, I think a lot of times teams just kind of come to the top when one of their key players goes down, and it's a credit to teams that do that. It doesn't always work that way, but I think. But my quick answer and my final answer, Lubie, is that because Acuna went down, because he went down so early in the season, it gave the Braves a lot of time to regroup, and then they bulked up with some really good outfielders.
I can see those yellow cleats and the gloves just flying, man. What a sensational player. And he was having, you want to pay money to go to a sporting event and you're looking for entertainment. And then you're also looking to see something great happen. And that guy was putting both of those things together in perfect symmetry. Whether you loved or hated the Braves, you couldn't help but want to watch Acuna, another one of those players, like you mentioned, Tommy Hutton, Mookie Betts. Tommy Hutton with us here on Ion Channel, and always great having Tommy on the show. I thought of you last night, Tommy. I knew you were coming on today, and I'm a fan. I'm old school. We're gonna have Tony Segreto on with a little old school in the next hour of the program. I see Fenway and the Green Monster. Does that not? I mean, you were talking about Keeneland. It's a cathedral of thoroughbred racing. I mean, if you wanted to go to a perfect atmosphere to see a sport that you enjoyed, that's it. And I got that same feeling. Crosley Field used to be a lot of fun with the incline and right. Did you ever have to fly up that thing? You didn't go all the way back to Crosley, did you, Tommy? I know you're older than me, which makes you older than dirt.
That's a good question. That is actually one ballpark that I did not get a chance to see, Crosley Field. I just missed it by, I think, a year before the Reds went into Riverfront Stadium. But you talk. It's funny. You talk about the cathedrals in baseball. Believe it or not, Dodger Stadium is one because it's, I think, the third oldest ballpark in the major leagues right now.
Pretty amazing.
That's crazy. In Fenway. So you get a chance to see two cathedrals in the postseason with the Dodgers in it and with the Red Sox. And I think I would say most casual fans would say I'd like to see the Red Sox and the Dodgers in the World Series, but the Braves are going to give them a battle, but they got a tough road playing in LA, as I said before.
As a drummer, I of course want to see Houston in there because I want to see if they bring back Tito Puente Jr. to give out the signs when they're playing in home games.
Hey, Defo, wait a minute. Let me ask you this. I still hear Yankee fans complain about that. First of all, Dusty Baker is having none of that. These guys can hit. They're just good players. There was no drumming going on last night when Jose Altuve took one over the monster. This little guy can just hit. So part of me, as much as, yes, it'd be nice to see Boston and all that get in there, I'm sure the networks would like to see that. But you know what? I would love to see Dusty Baker, who someday should be in the Hall of Fame as a manager / player because of what he's accomplished in his career. I would love to see him take it all the way, if not this year, some year.
I'm a big Dusty Baker fan, and very early on when I was a young scribe with the Fontana Herald News, a 5,000 daily circulation paper, that was my first stop on this long tour. But there was much more access, it seemed like, to ball players. Baseball still is the most accessible sport to cover, Tommy. I think that's a very fair statement, where they allow reporters into the clubhouse before the game to sit down and casually talk with players. And you used to be able to walk around behind the cage and sit down with a guy. And one of my first interviews covering a Dodger game was Dusty Baker, known then as Dr. Scald. And fans will remember Dusty Baker from that era. I mean, the line drives that he ripped over the third base bag, giving, the greatest third baseman in the game just a haircut as the thing went flying over their heads. They didn't measure this kind of stuff. They didn't have all of these, sabermetrics or whatever they are, sabermetrics where, you get the bat speed and all of this. And I don't care about that because you see a sizzling line drive. And Dusty Baker was great at that, but very gracious. Sat down with a young DeForest, talked to me for about a half an hour. And, at the end of the interview, as I'm trembling in fear and anxiety from this being one of my first assignments in the big leagues there in a big league ballpark, but the Dodgers were red hot at the time and very popular. And I said, thank you. And he turns to me and he says, no, thank you. And I'm like, wow, there's a class guy. So I'm always going to be a big Dusty Baker fan. And I know he's a real gentleman as well. Tommy, speaking of gentlemen, thanks so much. I know NASCAR Roger is happy. And all of the people, the Polyman that you came on the show, Gurgles, and we welcome you back. Our new Ion Channel Ventures. Thanks so much for being with us here on the program. It's always a pleasure, my friend.
Hey, two quick things, Defo. I'm glad I'm patting myself on the back that I didn't swear, because I understand you can now on this, so I'm happy.
Good for
I'm
you.
happy that I kept it clean. And secondly, I hope you guys clean up a little bit now, because now you're on video.
I know.
I thought you were going to say, go fuck yourself.
He's still in the shorts. It's just he has to collar it on top.
I put some pants on in case I stand up by accident. I don't want to be like that guy from CNN. Tommy, we love you. Thanks so much for being with us on the program.
Always enjoy it. All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, man. We love you.
All right, Tommy Hutton, ladies and gentlemen. So he missed Crosley by a year. Crosby Field. Not David Crosby. Exactly. All right, we're coming back with more. We're going to go old school in the second hour of the program here on Ion Channel. Tony Segreto, iconic South Florida broadcaster. The man did sports, the man did news, and he's still active, right? It's always interesting with Tony, right? He comes on. He has a little bit of a Hank Goldberg thing working there. And, of course, I know he was very tight with the great Hank Goldberg. A lot of people from around the country that aren't familiar with us yet, and from other countries now, according to Jack. We're big here in Germany and Spain, Lubie. Did you know that?
Yes, we are. Who knew?
I think the numbers reached double digits as recently as yesterday. Only our second show. But Hank Goldberg, of course, was probably known to people around the country from his work on ESPN, where, I mean, he was a forerunner to all of this degeneracy that we so warmly embrace today, which we did too. We were riding right along with him. And do you think he had a little influence on Tony, Lubie?
A little.
In terms of, because Tony is a closet degenerate.
Yes.
And we didn't know that. This is a man of great sanctimony, great principle. It's one of these guys that if you're not familiar with Tony, you're going to say, wow, I mean, I just feel inspired to be a better human being. That's kind of how he is, right? Nobody has a bad word to say about Tony Segreto.
No.
But, he always amazes me because Hank would drop some names, that was his big thing. And he said, somebody would call in and go, well, hey, what do you think of Anwar Sadat? He goes, well, I had lunch with him just yesterday. Sadat was in town. Who saw him come in, man? There wasn't much commotion about that. Did he have a police escort? Get out of here. You had lunch with the guy? And then another guy would call in. Next guy would go, hey, did you think the Bambino was the greatest of all time? And Hank would go, yeah, I had lunch with Babe Ruth just the other day. Like, Hank, he's been dead. But Tony never ceases to baffle me, and you too, Lubie, right? He'll come on the show and go, well, I was doing a thing yesterday with Nick Saban.
Like, what?
Nick Saban. Nobody talks to Nick Saban. Nick Saban's wife doesn't talk to Nick Saban.
He'll like defend Saban. Yeah, Saban's a good dude. It's like, what?
No, you know what? He's all about the kids. And if he gets into that, people, you're with us. I mean, we're going to have to throw a couple of knives in his direction. But there's a lot going on. And this is great because this is a huge debate among sports fans. I don't know if it's a debate so much because it's two positives that you're talking about. Where you have what is the best time of the year in sports? Is it the spring when everything's going on and you're in the postseason in the NBA? You're in the postseason, the chase for the Stanley Cup. Nobody pays any attention to hockey until the Stanley Cup is being played. Is it the finals? No, early rounds of the playoffs is where a lot of people start to get some traction on the NHL. Now with sports wagering, however.
There you go.
Did you hammer the Panthers last night? Beat the Lightning on the road? No,
but you should have. They pounded them. The Cats are playing well.
Yeah, well, without Khrushchev, right? He's out of the lineup there. Kucherov. He's a great player. He's always hurt, though, now, right? Is he injury prone? Do we put him in the same category as Tua Tagovailoa? Are we ever going to pronounce that man's name correctly? I'm not sure. Anyway, Tony is an amazing guy, and he's coming up next here, Old School. That's brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. I wanted to stop at the Texas Roadhouse in Lexington. Guess which restaurant was packed, Lubie? Texas Roadhouse in Lexington, Kentucky.
Of course.
There are a lot of places on that particular street. I think it was like Louis Oliver. Louis Oliver, did he play at Kentucky? No, he was a Florida guy.
I think he's a Gator.
He has a street named after him there. Louis Oliver, the former Dolphin. Like the main drag that takes you everywhere. What are you on? We're on Louis Oliver, I think. Oliver Lewis. Is Oliver Lewis some famous Kentuckian? No, he was a horseman and a senator, and he represented the people of his district very well. All right, Tony Segreto coming up next. Brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. Very popular place, very popular joint there in Lexington, and of course all throughout the Southeast. And Catholic Health Services, which I can personally vouch for, and this is more of a serious thing, but any health issues, sometimes rehabilitation, you're coming back from knee surgery, that's a place to go. Stroke victims, things like that. But wow. The job that they did in taking care of my mother as she was passing away, I didn't know they had this particular service. But you talk about service. That's what Catholic Health Services, that is very justifiable in their name, Lubie. And I can say that from my heart. Great stuff. Tony turned me on to them, and they're proud sponsors from the beginning of Old School with Tony Segreto. That's coming up in just a few minutes here on On Channel. I'm Jeff DeForest. He is Mike Lubie Lubitz, and we'll be back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
7:56. Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their
I need to edit my name.
is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Verizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style. And you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet here for my friends over at Shenanigans Sports Pub. It's a great place to go to take in a game, a good meal, and a couple of drinks. My friend Patrick, he's been doing it a long time, and he's got 2 locations. West side is right across from TY Park in Hollywood. And then the east side location is at 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Shenanigans is the place for wings, burgers, barbecue, fresh fish, anything you want, drink specials, late night dining, outdoor dining. It is the place to go, family friendly. Go to Shenanigans and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
What we gonna do right here is go back, way back into time.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto. Brought to you by Catholic Health Services and Texas Roadhouse.
Tell me, doctor, where are we going this time?
Well, once again, everybody, great to be with you. Jeff Morris, Mike Lubie with you on the Eye On channel, and we continue to try to add new things, new elements into the program every week. We have the pleasure of speaking with this gentleman, an iconic broadcaster here in the South Florida area. Started out in the sports department. I think he was 9 when his mentor, Bernie Rosen, handed him a microphone and said, Ali's in town, get some cuts. And I ran down to the Fifth Street Gym here, a fabled bastion of sporting legend in South Florida, the Fifth Street Gym on Miami Beach, where Ali trained, met the Beatles, did all kinds of great stuff. Angelo Dundee was in there, his brother Chris. And in strolls a young Tony Segreto, and a brilliant career in sportscasting is launched. You probably saw him nationally and maybe internationally when, and I don't think he was like Lubie, where he's rooting for Tony or he's rooting for me to get hit by the B bus so he could take over the job. With George Michaels and the Sports Machine, Tony Segreto, the number one substitute. We were that for a while on a national show, and it was always a pleasure to get the call. But Tony ended up doing a fine job in gaining national acclaim as a sportscaster on the George Michaels Sports Machine, which was a revolutionary show at the time, and had a huge, vast audience, late-night highlight show, I believe, on Sunday night when all the sports fans were saying, I can't take any more of this weather. Right? I mean, who wants to see I almost said it, the fucking weather. I don't. I want to get to the sports highlights, and Tony was a pioneer in that as well. Then he became a legendary newscaster. He mowed down some of the greats here, Ralph Rennick and Bishop, and we welcome to the show Tony Segreto, going old school with Tony Segreto. Tony, how are you, my friend?
I'm awesome. Thank you. This is fantastic. Had I known, I have to tell you, I totally zoned out on the fact that we were doing this on camera because I just said to Lubie, I said, it's going to look a ton better next week. I said, I couldn't get to my studio this morning, which is, down our hill, but I just couldn't get it set up because I have it set up for different companies that I do business with. But I have to tell you, man, this is very cool, and I'm excited about this. And just a couple things. One, the George Michael Sports Machine. I got to tell you a quick funny story. I'm sitting in my office one day, and my assistant comes in and she says George Michael is on the phone, and the first thing that comes to my mind is, why would the rock singer want to talk to me? Right? Why would George Michael want to talk to me? Because Wham was big then. So I get up. I thought
he was a professional wrestler.
So I'm thinking, man, Wham is calling me. This is like amazing. So anyway, God rest his soul, it was George Michael. And from that day forward, for 30 years, I was, the joke was I was his Jay Leno to Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
And it was remarkable. That show, for this, speaking old school, was the precursor to ESPN. And it was, and he was the only one who had the nerve and had the gumption to put on things like rodeo and NASCAR when people thought he was crazy. And look where rodeo and NASCAR, both of those sports are today in terms of fan base, viewership. It's remarkable.
It's good to see you too on this program, Tony, because and you mentioned that you were scrambling a little bit this morning, and I understand after being in Kentucky, the hills are very mild there compared to your digs in Vermont. So the problem with going downhill is that you eventually have to turn around and go uphill.
Right.
I was very conscious of that on my now daily walk of life.
I heard you say about the Texas Roadhouse in Lexington, right?
Oh, man, it was jammed, Tony.
So listen to this. We are in. We had gone. I promised both of my children that I would go with them to one of their respective university games. So I was I'm going to Florida State soon, and I was in South Bend with our son, and we were actually staying in a little town outside of South Bend, and we're going back to this town. It's like 15 minutes from South Bend, and we're looking at a restaurant after the game, and we call Texas Roadhouse. I call Ed Garcia. I go, hey, we're going to try and go to this one.
Were you looking for a freebie?
Is that what you're no. I'm not Lubie. I am not Lubie. So
he would just expect the freebie and complain to the manager. Hey, they sent me a bill.
Right. So anyway, we're in Elkhart, Indiana. As God is my witness here, there was a 3-hour wait.
3 hours.
Wow. The Texas Roadhouse and the restaurants around there, and I'm not going to mention their names.
Empty.
It was walk-in.
Go ahead, mention their names, man. Mow them all down.
It was no. It was amazing. Though. It was remarkable. So it's good to see everybody.
No, it was great. No, it was fantastic to see that. But I was going to say, Tony, that with the getup that you had to come up with here to not only accommodate the program and the fact that you were, obviously not really ready to roll there down the hill, and it does look like one of those disguises I would wear when I owed Lipschitz like 2 dimes after a rough weekend of college football wagering. I mean, it looks like you're trying to go incognito in a place where, incognito doesn't exist because everybody is incognito.
It works. Yeah. Plus, are
there a lot of like criminals that are on the lam that are your surrounding neighbors, or is it all?
No, but it is 43 degrees here this morning, so it's a little bit different in South Florida.
All right, many things happening on a lot of different fronts that I know you like to get into, Tony, and and you anticipated that this was going to be a strange year of college football. And I don't know that it's been so strange at the top. I mean, we've seen a lot of juxtaposition. Alabama losing certainly was a surprise, especially since I was just telling all of my loyal followers I'd be willing to lay 100 points with Alabama in this game. And Texas A&M, with Lubie's favorite coach, Jimbo Fisher, beats them. I mean, whips them like a dog, and they fall out of the top spot, although not far enough, Mr. It's not a business, it's a sport. Not far enough to keep them out of the college football playoff, my friend.
Well, let me tell you, I think it's been extremely exciting, and we talked about this, and thank you for the reference because of these super seniors, we're seeing games go down to the wire. We're seeing teams upset. We're seeing, who would have thought that LSU would go in and beat Florida? Right? Who would have thought that? Who would guess Florida?
And then fire their coach.
LSU didn't.
Yeah.
LSU
Who
didn't.
would
To the tune of $17 million.
Yeah. Who would then?
It's not a business.
Yeah. No, it's a business.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but and then Florida State, doing it, against North Carolina, North Carolina not having a great year, but then we see, Cincinnati just, listen, their schedule isn't very good, and I still have a hard time understanding and believing that they're going to be in the football playoff, one of the 4.
They're slaughtering people though. They are slaughtering people.
But they're slaughtering
over
you, me,
every
and
game.
Other than Notre Dame and Indiana, the teams they're slaughtering are you, me, and Lubie and our aunts and uncles. Sorry,
maybe a little bit lower level than that.
But that's they're not. I think that's going to hurt them. What's really going to hurt them is if Indiana and or Notre Dame stubs their toes along the way. Right. And let's say Notre Dame winds up 7-3 or, 7 and whatever.
Notre Dame could be 6-6. They're going to the college football playoff. You know that, Tony.
Yeah.
You're on the committee, for God's sake.
Right. No, they're not going to do that.
And you just set foot underneath touchdown Jesus there, and they don't care that they lost like a bunch of games. They know they're going to the Final Four.
It's
preordained.
They just interviewed Joe Montana, and I thought of you. Oh my gosh, I was laughing so hard because they interviewed Joe, and the last question was,
wait, you interviewed Joe?
No, not me.
Because we were mentioning that you, like the great Hank Goldberg, will mention any name, and you'll say, and in your case, it was legit that you actually did have lunch with Joe Montana.
Right. But anyway, so they were interviewing Montana. Actually, it was a promotion because they were interviewing him on how he got involved with Guinness, and Guinness is a sponsor at Notre Dame.
The world records or the last question they asked it. The last question they asked him,
was Rudy offside?
They really did? They really?
Which don't tell me he said no.
He didn't say yes.
That was the most blatant missed call in the history of football at any level.
And to this day, it still bothers you. Why? Why does it? Who cares? It's a great story.
I've lost a lot of my acrimony for teams that I used to hate. I don't know if that's a byproduct of old age, but let's face it. Who was a bigger enemy of the Gator Nation in South Florida than me, Tony? You used to have to field inquiries. Hey, is that DeForest really the asshole that he seems to be from Gator fans when you were covering games there?
I tell a story.
You're not a big Gator fan, though, either.
No, listen, I told the story.
You must have loved the other day with LSU.
I did. Oh, are you kidding me? I was jumping for joy. I was.
Yeah, baby.
I was telling a story the other day to a group that I was speaking with. Actually, up here, I spoke to a group up here, and I was telling them the story. There was a Gator fan in there, and I was telling them a story how when my son was little, he was still in a car seat, and I'm ignoring this. I was still in a car seat, and we're going to play golf. I would take him to the golf course on Saturdays and put him in the golf cart, and then he and I would drive around. And I look in the back while we're driving to the golf course, and his sippy cup, the sippy cups little children have.
Yeah.
It was orange and blue.
Oh no!
And
gross.
I said, there's no way. So I go to the grocery store. I get him out of the car. I put him in a little stroller. I go to the grocery store. I take the sippy cup. I throw the sippy cup away.
Wow, you.
Yeah.
I go into the grocery store. I get a new sippy cup, different colors. I go to the deli. I tell them the story. They're laughing. They sterilize the cup. They put his juice in, and off I go, and I leave.
Nice.
My wife proceeds to tell me.
That's some serious Gator hatred there.
So now my wife proceeds to tell me, these are mix and match. You did not have to throw the cup away.
Oh, nice. All right, well, let's take a look at the top here, because and you're a giant college football fan, Tony Segreto, and that's one of the reasons that we love you. And we didn't realize until you somehow revealed this, and I'm not sure that you wanted this to leak out. These might have been like the Gruden emails where John was calling every day to the
Let's not
Washington
even go
football
down
team
that.
offices and saying,
we're not going
hey,
down
hey,
that
listen,
road.
none of that stuff I said to Alan, I didn't mean any of it. None of it. All right.
This is out of control. This is
Well, this is what it should
totally
be.
out of control.
We're finally turned loose. It's
Totally
like
out of
Lubie
control.
Unchained here.
All
on
I
the
know is,
program.
why are we watching Channel 10 behind you?
That would be funny.
Well, I mean, come on, Tony. I mean, you're out of this racket for a long time. What do you care what's behind
He's
me?
still
there?
loyal. He's still loyal.
But why not ESPN?
You know why?
Like, why don't we
Because,
watch? Why don't we have Sports Center on? For
Because
Because
goodness
I've
sake?
seen the same loop 1,000 times already. We're doing our own thing with that. No, I mean, it's good. It's a very useful tool for anybody in this business, because people always say, well, how the hell did you know that? And you're thinking in a 15-minute session there on Sports Center, much like your George Michael sports machine, you would have a pretty good grasp of what was going on in the world of sport. I did happen to watch a lot of different stuff last night. It was a great night for
what a
channel
great
flipping,
night.
With NHL, NBA,
Oh my
and two Major
gosh.
League Baseball playoff games.
Those
that both
baseball
were
games
dynamite.
last night, both of those baseball games last night were fabulous.
Great stuff. But I
Fabulous.
wanted to get into this with you about final thought on college football here. Maybe not a final thought, but Georgia. I mean, just ridiculous defense. We saw that. Now we thought Clemson was good. And I mentioned this earlier in the first hour of the program, Tony, that everybody with an O at the end of their name is denouncing the fact that they're interested in the LSU job. You got Dabo, you got Jimbo, Harpo, Chico, Zeppo. They've all said, we're out. We don't want that job. We're not going to seek it. So I don't know whether they're going to name Dabo Sweeney the head coach at LSU. But after that first game, you would have thought, wait a minute, 3 stinking points? And it wasn't like Clemson was bereft of having talent at the quarterback position, and yet Georgia just absolutely slapped them around. And now they're beating people by 50 points every ball game. Are they? I mean, we've seen this before though from Georgia.
Don't go the greatest team ever. Don't.
No,
I
wouldn't. I mean, I wasn't even thinking that. But no, I mean, in terms of what's in the pack there, after seeing vulnerability with Alabama and seeing Iowa go down to an unranked Purdue. Are they that far ahead of the rest of the field, in your opinion?
I think right now they are that far ahead, but I'm putting an asterisk by that, because I truly believe when you can see an LSU team that was basically had a non-existent offense go in and just destroy Florida at Florida, when you see Texas A&M beat Alabama the way they did, when Iowa goes down, I just think every week. We're watching what was the stat I heard? 40 ranked teams or 42 ranked teams have already lost.
Yep.
Yes.
This college football
I think
season.
half have lost to unranked teams. That's what's crazy about it all.
Yeah. And that unranked team issue it goes back to what I said at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
These teams have these super seniors, and a lot of guys are playing. They're stacked now, so they have that position competition where they didn't have that before. And as a result, I think that it becomes a huge issue and a big leg up for a lot of these schools who otherwise would not even have a chance in these games. But
it's funny too, because go ahead, Lubie.
No. I think Georgia is that much.
No, that wasn't you. That was you, Tony. What are you talking about? I thought Lubie was chiming in here.
No, go ahead, Lubie. What were you going to say?
I thought he was going to say something. He started mumbling something, and I think he wants to. He wants to have you put the final hatchet out there on Manny Diaz. I don't know. And you are a defender.
Yes, it's He's wearing a
You're one of those guys.
You know,
you were saying nice things about Al Golden before he made.
No, I wasn't. No.
Randy Shannon was like
no,
a god to
no,
you, Tony
no,
Segreto.
no.
You're a
Don't go
UM
down
guy.
that
Look
road.
at you with your UM jacket.
No.
And,
Well, I
your
went to
NBC
school
hat.
there, for goodness sake. Come on.
All right.
I'm curious to see what they do with Manny. I really am, and I'm not dancing around this. My son and I and
Yes,
my
you
daughter
are.
and I.
Wait a
No, I'm
minute.
not.
Show
I
us your
don't
shoes.
know.
Turn the camera down.
I
Let's
do
see
not.
the dance shoes.
I do not know what they're going to do. I truly do not know, and I'm not sure. I have a feel for this. There's just something.
What's the talk? I mean, you're inside this university,
think the
Tony.
talk-
You're on the board
I
of
think-
directors of everything.
I think the talk is that there's a lot of restlessness going on. I think that there's a lot of restless people. I don't know I'm not sure the administration's restless. I really don't think that they're restless at all.
Do they exist?
but
Who's
I
running
think-
the show there? Who's in charge? No, I'm serious. You
The
used to know the
president of the
hierarchy there. It was like
university.
you could point a finger right at Donna Shalala or
the
Tad
president,
Foote.
the president of the university.
And who's that?
Dr. Julio Frank, an amazing guy. By the way.
He is?
Just,
Okay.
Yeah, remarkable.
I thought you would say that. Yeah,
remarkable,
no, I don't know him at all.
remarkable man.
All right.
And probably one of the neatest people I've ever met in my life. Just he used to be. Well, you look him up. It's amazing.
But does he know
guy.
there's a sports department?
Yes,
that's
he
I guess what
does.
the fans
Yes,
would-
he does.
No,
He's
I don't know. I mean,
he's
I'm not
well
sure where
aware
we
of
stand.
it. He is
Okay.
well aware of it. My sense is this: that the alumni is beyond restless. How much voice they have in this, I don't know. I can't tell you how. I know how much voice they have. Will the voice be listened to? I think the administration is going to take a long, hard look at this and figure out the best way to understand how these kids work. And
Who
move
is
from
the
there.
richest alumni and a sports fan at the University of Miami? Because that's who they have to call.
Yep.
No, I'm not recommending that they fire Manny Diaz because I don't know. I mean, we've talked about this a zillion times. I
Yeah.
mean, some people don't realize that it's never going to be the same. Now, it doesn't have
It's
to be
not exactly,
downhill
Defo.
either.
You're so right. It's not going to be the same. And here's the thing: you look at, and again, I'm not, covering this over. But if you're inside with the team and you're talking to coaches, and they're going to look at you, and basically they're saying, without saying it, if we didn't have bad luck, we'd have no luck. I mean, when you lose 2 games, one with a clank off an upright and one with a bad pass, and now you go to yourself, how in the world does that happen? Now, the flip side to that is
Lubie
it
nearly
never
spit
should
up
have
his
gotten-
pancakes here.
It never should have. It never should have gotten to that point. Miami should have beaten both of those teams, right? But it did get to that point, and you would think Miami could overcome it. Was the pass a good call? We could always look back and double, and go, okay, second guess ourselves. I don't know where we're going to go here. All I know is that Miami's got to can salvage whatever they have by just playing a decent game, playing with energy, playing with some passion, and playing with some sense of urgency, which I believe in some of the games they haven't done.
Trying to get that feeling again, man. The old song always applies. It's not happening.
Uh-huh.
All right. This is great. And this is also a little bit of an experiment here. First time on a program that we've not only had a 3-way video and audio conversation.
I'm glad you
going on
continued that.
simultaneously.
I'm glad you continued that sentence and stop it there.
What's that?
Think about what you just said.
Refresh my memory here. I'm trying to introduce the great Ed Garcia. But, no, I mean,
This is
anyway.
the first time we've ever done it with a 3-way, and then I said, "Thank God you continued."
Leave it to you, Mr. Sanctimony,
Degenerate.
Mr. Pie in the Sky, to take the show into the gutter. I mean, right away.
I'm taking it. It's already been there. I'm trying to get it out.
The 3-way video. That's what I meant to say. I don't know if I left out the key word there, but anyway, and now we're going to introduce a special guest here, and I want to pay homage to this man because this was quite a tribute. We drove by any number of, and this was on Oliver Lewis Boulevard in Lexington, Kentucky. Ed Garcia, we welcome from Texas Roadhouse to the program, and we're passing by a lot of kind of, I guess you would say, national and even local chains and a lot of individual restaurants. And we're looking for a place. And I say, let's go there. It's packed, right? You're figuring that's the place to go. And sure enough, I look up. There it is. Texas Roadhouse, Lexington, Kentucky. man, you guys got to be just absolutely thrilled with the response that you get all around the country. Ed Garcia, how are you, my friend?
I am doing great. Very excited to be part of this 18 and over show, it sounds like.
Even Tony cursed. Tony cursed.
He hasn't cursed. God. We love you, Ed.
Ed, you heard Defo talk about Lexington, and I told him how I called you, or we got a hold of you while we were in Elkhart, Indiana. Same thing, 3-hour wait. It's remarkable what Texas Roadhouse does when you travel the country and you pass a Texas Roadhouse at dinner time, no matter what day of the week it is. It's remarkable how crowded you are all over the country.
Definitely very blessed when it comes to that. I know this past weekend I was at the Miami Flagler store by the airport, and they were just shy of 4 hours. And like I told you, when you're in Indiana, we have an awesome app. You can download it, off the Google store or off the Apple store, and you can put your name right on the wait. And even if it's a Monday, Tuesday, it's always just a safe bet to jump in there and put yourself, so that way you can enjoy yourself. Don't forget, while you are waiting, you can grab a margarita. But what's really cool about the wait, when you put your name on there, it tells you how long it's going to be. So you can do your waiting at home, run some errands, whatever it may be that you need to do. You can go in there and then you're going to have that hot dinner. But I really just want to pay homage to our team, because obviously with these long waits, they are doing a fantastic job of making sure that we have that legendary food. In our meat cutters, which we just wrapped up our competition, these guys are on a mission to win $25,000 because it's so important. And I know you guys were inside that meat room, but we just had the competition a couple weeks ago down here, and they cut in a 38-degree room, and just sit there for about 50, 60 hours, cutting steaks, making them look so awesome and fresh, for our guests. So, which is really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I just, quickly, we welcome you to this new broadcast that we have here. It's so cool, and we're just so grateful to you and to be part of this family. But this is for the Texas Roadhouse. For those of you in South Florida, if you want to enjoy a good afternoon and early evening of college football, go to the Texas Roadhouse. Coldest beer in town. You can do anything from wings to burgers to ribs. They fall off the bone. And it's just an amazing way to spend an afternoon, early evening, rooting your team on. And I'm sure you guys are packed.
I got one for Ed, too. Ed, did Tony call for a freebie? That's what we want to know. Calling you from Indiana, like Elkhorn, Indiana, wherever the hell he was. There's a Texas
It was
Roadhouse,
not a freebie. I wasn't even an ask. I just said, hey, we're heading.
Hey, yeah, we're going in. It's, my family and me. Can you do something for us? Ed Garcia.
Ed, I did not say that.
No.
Pleading the fifth? Was that pleading the fifth?
Not quite. You heard the gap.
There's all of a sudden Mr. Pentangeli.
A little bit. Yep. Well, thank you so much, guys. It's been awesome. I really love being a part of this. Anything I can do, let me know. And as soon as you're ready for some hot, fresh ribs and some hand-cut steaks, you guys let me know.
We're ready.
Yeah, slobbering those down on video, and that's going to be great. Lubie always has food all over his face.
Yeah, especially now that we're on video, Ed. You can send us stuff. So have a great day, my friend. Texas Roadhouse, very grateful, and there is no doubt about it. It is the place to go. And when it's testimony to the food, the service, and the atmosphere when there's a 4-hour wait. Right, Defo? It's
I'm telling you,
place.
you know what? Normally, if it really looks like it's jammed up like that, I'm thinking, okay, so I'll go to that place that has no business across the street and see what's wrong with them. But no, Texas Roadhouse always hits it right on the spot. All right, so we thank Ed Garcia for joining us here on the program.
What is the yogiism? No one ever goes there because it's always so crowded?
That's right. Nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded. Mike Lubie Lubitz, Jeff DeForest. We got Tony Segreto going old school. Tony's going to be with us till 9 o'clock this morning on On Channel. Glad you guys tuned in. Like the comments that are coming up there on the message board. You can go ahead and make a comment if you're watching on video. That's great, too. Back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 8:24. Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities, Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. All right, one thing that I love about you, Tony, and we discovered this over time, although it took a while to kind of realize what the heck was really going on there. As distinguished as you are, and as many people as you deal with your various committees that you're on, Orange Ball, this, that, boards of trustees of universities, deep inside, I mean, lurks. I don't know that it's a sick degenerate, but there is a degenerate nature, and nobody loves college football. I believe next to women's softball, college football is really the most passionate sport that you're all about, Tony Segreto. Is that not correct?
I love it. I love it. Let's say we talk about being the intelligent degenerate, the one who doesn't say it out loud, but
those are mutually exclusive, my friend. There is no intelligent degenerate. If you're a degenerate, you've already shown a lack of intelligence or intellect.
Defo and Lubie love kicking it old school with the legendary Tony Segreto.
Welcome back to the show. Great to have you with us. Eye on Channel and our new venture here. We're in day number 3. Mike Lubie, Lubitz, Jeff DeForest, and we're old school. Every week we go old school. We're going to do it in this hour every week on a Wednesday, the 8 o'clock hour. Old School with Tony Segreto, brought to you by very fine people. You heard from Ed Garcia, Texas Roadhouse. We can't say enough good things about those people. And I can personally vouch for Catholic Health Services, great people as well, and we'll tell you more about them in just a few moments. Old school, and I know, Tony, that you are, like me, a huge baseball fan. We had Tommy Hutton on earlier in the program, and it really was kind of startling. We've had this conversation before. I'm not sure that there's any great answer to it or that there needs to be one. So why bring it up? No, about when is the most fascinating time to be a sports fan?
I like this time of year.
Yeah.
Personally, I think for me, and I'm I'm not expecting people to agree, but it has more. It has everything to do with the whole picture. It's the weather changing. It's the the impending holidays. It's the playoff baseball. We're seeing the transition from the boys of summer to the boys of fall. Who's going to be the Mr. October? NBA starting, National Hockey League getting really getting going. College football, the NFL has been extraordinary. I just think, I'm like last night, I'm watching these great baseball games. Is there anything like playoff baseball? It's just, they talk a lot about when a college football player goes to the NFL, there's a step up in speed. Right, how quickly the game is played. And then they talk about playoffs being exactly a much different tempo. It's even faster than that. And you get that sense with playoff baseball too. If nothing else, the energy from the stadium. When you saw the energy at Fenway last night and in LA with the Dodgers, when you felt that energy through your TV screen, it got you jacked up, ready to go and watch it. It was great. It was absolutely fabulous.
No, I was loving every minute of it, and I was flipping around, and that's when I got the thought that, oh my God, I mean, how can you beat this? You've had everything going on. You had a couple of sensational finishes in the National Football League, upsets galore, as guys were saying from the announcer's booth. No, he's not a seventh-year senior. He's an eighth-year senior, Joe. In fact, he's 27 years old. I mean, playing for college football rosters.
Yeah, there are some guys like that.
Change the dynamic of the game here. You got some animal that should be playing for the Tennessee Titans, and he's mowing down some 5'10" quarterback that weighs $175 soaking wet. So you had all of that happening, and then this playoff baseball, and I didn't even realize. I mean, it absolutely blew us right by us yesterday, because I was thinking the Heat opened their NBA season on Thursday night.
Right.
And so I'm flipping channels. I go, wait a minute. Well, what is this? Milwaukee versus Brooklyn? And we don't know. I thought I saw Kyrie Irving somewhere. Was there a Kyrie Irving sighting somewhere in the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin last night? So he's disappeared. That's a strange story right there. And
he was eating he was eating cheese curds at the local burger.
Yeah, and lighting incense somewhere, and just chanting "Nam Yoho Renge Kyo" while saying while throwing bullets, at a picture of Dr. Fauci. I mean, strange cat, no doubt about it. And yet you still have James Harden and Kevin Durant on Brooklyn. And there was a Grayson Allen sighting. I mean, how weird is that? Do you have certain players that you look at and you say, that guy is still in the NBA?
Oh, yeah.
Grayson Allen, the kid out of Duke that was always tripping guys up. I mean, a real asshole, you would have to say. A college basketball player. The kind of guy you would beat the living snot out of. I mean, if you saw him walking down the street. And he looked the part, too, right? He looked like Niedermeyer in Animal House.
Yep.
One of those guys. And Coach K, Mr. Speaking of sanctimony, I know you have great reverence for Coach K.
Come on.
I'm sure he's a great American.
Are you honestly
kick that kid off the team? What are you talking about?
Honestly going to tell me you're going to take Coach K to task? Honestly, I mean, you may as well take Mother Teresa to task.
Well, we would if she allowed Grayson Allen to do the obnoxious things that he was doing. Nothing worse, I mean, than poor sportsmanship, and especially if it's a guy that's going out there trying to hurt.
Agreed. And
I mean, it's a game. After all, I know it's big money and all of that, but it's still a game.
I have to tell you, and I hate to beat this horse, but it sort of came up to me now. It just sort of came into my head when you're talking about sportsmanship and all of that. I cannot tell you how many people have reached out to me either via Twitter or some sort of platform or text that they had my number, asking me how in the world Urban Meyer still has a job.
And your explanation is?
I had no explanation. I literally had no explanation.
You're a big Urban fan. I mean,
come on.
Did you take his course?
Yeah.
And Dignity,
I'm
or
as
whatever
much
that
of
was?
an Urban fan as you are a Nick Saban fan. Because I'm
a fan of his work, but
deep down inside, you love Nick Saban. It's been listen, when you're at the Funky Biscuit,
I love Nick Saban. That's a good one.
When you're at the Funky Biscuit and you've had a couple of pops, there's been overheard from the table is how amazing is that Nick Saban from the mouth of Jeff DeForest.
How amazing of an asshole is Nick Saban? Is what is more likely to be heard.
Somehow the people who heard it didn't hear that word. They didn't hear that word. All they heard amazing.
All right, you're making stuff up now, Tony.
No,
what were you going to say
I'm not.
about this baseball playoffs?
No, for those people who aren't baseball fans and they are like, okay, we'll tune in now. Both of those games the other night were decided in the ninth inning. Yeah. It was incredible. Here, and that's why they play. That's why you have 27 outs. That's why you play all the games you play, because they mean something. And every swing, everything. I mean, it was just great. I mean, I was up until I was wondering if you guys were still up, because I don't think the Dodger game ended until about midnight or a little after midnight.
Yeah, it was. We're around here for 6 hours right now. Pull up a chair and stay a while. I mean, Vin had to be going.
And
crazy.
what's great when you hear them say tomorrow we'll be here tomorrow afternoon for a game. Yeah. There's nothing like afternoon baseball in the fall. There's nothing like playoff baseball.
The sun was playing all kinds of tricks. That guy Lux dropped one out in center field.
Yeah.
He's a hot shot, newcomer to the Dodgers. They had to get him on the roster. I don't think he'd played like 3 major league games, and he's like batting fourth and playing center for the Dodgers in the postseason. A lot of great stories. It's interesting though too, because when they bring in Kenley Jansen, I have a degenerate friend, and he's a race caller at Santa Anita, and a big Dodger fan, as you might imagine, having grown up in L.A., the great Frank Miramati. Got to start here at Hialeah Park. I don't know if you remember that, but the Brunetti's famous Hialeah Park, one of our fine sponsors, for launching the careers of brilliant race callers, including a guy many would consider the greatest of all time, and that would be the great Tom Durkin, who originally, I guess he called like a season at Tampa Bay, then came to Hialeah, and that's where he gained distinction as being one of the great voices on any PA system or any announcing gig.
Tom's
that
special
you could get
guy,
anywhere in the world. But he Frank Miramati, when Kenley Jansen, even when he starts, moving around in the bullpen, he thinks that his entrance music should be much like with Urban Meyer. Here comes my 19th nervous breakdown, because this guy, you don't know what the hell you're going to get. Although he's been more consistent of late, I guess he's kind of redeemed himself, which is nice to see sometimes with a guy who's in a closer position. You always talk about this is one of your big themes, and to introduce you to our worldwide now audience, Tony Segreto, the guy that can do it when he's in the moment. You don't know exactly what moment. I mean, you're looking at Kenley Jansen coming in and thinking that this 6-5 lead isn't safe, and he gets in there and he strikes out the side. So, that was great stuff.
Just real quick, to that point, I've spent some time with obviously a number of major league players, just offhanded, having a beverage or whatever, and relievers, and that is a special breed, like the pinch hitter. Right. I mean, I remember spending time with Johnny Blanchard, the great Yankee. He was a backup catcher. For those of you who are Yankee fans, you all remember the name Johnny Blanchard.
Third string behind Yogi Berra and Elston Howard.
Yeah.
So he was no slouch. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was known for his pinch hitting prowess, man. And we talk between the pinch hitter and the reliever to be able to come in on those. They're always put in a hot spot, right? They're never put in just, okay, it's the first inning and I'm the second guy up, all of a sudden that happens. No, they're always put up in a really difficult period of time, or brought in a difficult period of time. And for the reliever to live in that, be able to handle that stage, to be able to live in that moment is remarkable, because there is a tunnel vision that relievers have and that pinch hitters have that is unmatched. That they you talk about being able to, the pinch hitter, think about it. He's one shot. Yep. He has one shot. He has 3 swings. And
he's ice cold too.
And he's ice cold. Hasn't seen the pitcher. He's watched him from the dugout, but just not the same. And I think those guys are special. Those athletes right there are special. They're specialized in what they do, and they deserve whatever they get in terms of their dollars.
A couple of things struck me. The money must be really good on Entertainment Tonight. How does Mary Hart get those seats? And does she still insure her legs at like 87 for $1 million a year? Remember that was a big story, Mary Hart, who I guess had a great.
It's amazing. It's amazing how things worry you. And
I'm a fan of the fact that she's a baseball fan. I really am. I kind of dig the idea that this woman who was on Entertainment Tonight was a big star and a very, very likable personality. I don't think
actually 70.
Do you know that
I like that she's a Dodger fan.
When there's so many people that I know that are true baseball fans, and you don't believe you know them anymore. But it spans the demographic and the sex. I mean, it's a smattering of women, men, old, young. It's really cool, and to be able to talk baseball and talk intelligent baseball, right? And if you want to get deep into a subject, you follow Jerry Weinstein on Twitter.
Who's Jerry
And
Weinstein? Your lawyer?
Jerry Weinstein used to be
I'm in a jackpot.
used to be the assistant coach at UM. He is
Jerry
the
Weinstein.
He is known as the catching guru.
Oh, yeah?
Major leaguers go to him. Both college baseball, softball players go to him. And the way he spends a lot of time. He was with the Angels, I believe. I'm not sure who he's with now. But if you follow him and you talk about breaking a game down, you follow Jerry Weinstein, the catching position. It's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable what he does.
Does he have any recommendations, whether he likes, what kind of wine he likes or anything like that? Sounds like a real astute gentleman. No, it's great. And I do miss Larry King back there. I wish they would kind of go a weekend at Bernie's with Larry King. May he rest in peace. And, of course, you knew Larry King. How many shows did you do with Larry King when he was, you were an iconic young broadcaster here on TV, and he was the king of local radio here in South Florida.
Yeah, and my very first responsibility was getting him coffee and makeup.
And how gracious was he about that?
Extremely.
Oh yeah,
extremely. Yeah. Extremely. We were I considered.
I need $50 to bet the fourth in Hialeah.
I considered him a good friend and a good source, especially when it came to the ponies. Yeah, I had some friends of mine go to Saratoga the other day, like the city, to go walk around Saratoga and go, well, have you ever been? I go, never been to the town. I've always just I only go to the ponies. I just go to the track and I come home.
The author's John Grisham. The book is The Firm. Caller, you're on the Mutual Radio Network. No, Larry King was great. One of my original radio
great
heroes.
Stories. He would tell.
Yeah,
Larry and I would sit down and he would tell me just great.
But he was always there at the Dodger games. And he either copped the tickets for free off
huge
the
baseball
PR department or borrowed the money to get it, even
it's
though he was worth like $80
million. Baseball is such a beautiful sport to watch. It really is. It's a great sport to watch, to navigate, to watch them make the moves that they make. So
you ignored all of my shots at Larry King. Why was
you know what?
Funny?
You know what? Here's the thing. I've become numb. I've become numb to your Eddie Haskell. I have become numb to your Eddie Haskell.
Well, that's not good for the show. I mean, it's not a good dynamic here. But no, it's still every time I used to see King behind home plate, and the other figure that you would see behind home plate at Dodger Stadium for years, and this guy did one thing, and then he had like a lifetime freebie from the Dodgers at about $500,000 a year to have the jugs gun. That was a guy named Mike Brito, the guy with the fedora hat, and everybody always wondered. They always wondered who the guy that was sitting next to Jack Nicholson was at Laker games, right? And that's a guy named Jerry Adler, who's probably could buy and sell Nicholson 20 times over because he was a record producer and was a producer of many, many of the hottest bands in recording history. So that's the guy with the white hat, with the
exactly.
Bryson DeChambeau hat that he has on backwards and the funny glasses. And you're thinking, how did that freak get in there with Jack Nicholson?
How does that happen?
Well, he's at a lot of Dodger games too, but Larry King was always a fixture back there. But the problem with it was he was right behind home plate, and as the Dodger games were transpiring, I would say at least a half a dozen calls a game. Hey, Defo, you knew Larry King. You think he's ever going to pay back those tellers at Hialeah? He stiffed me. I still have a bad check. As if I was responsible for the financial ruin of half the people of South Florida because of Larry King floating some bad paper at the racetrack.
So listen, Lubie, I have a mission if you'd like to accept it.
Okay.
Truly. I think you should try to get Mary Hart on the show.
Doable.
Yeah, good luck with that. You have a better shot of arranging that for us by far than Lubie.
I
think she would be a very gracious woman. I mean, she had
I agree. I think she'd be
TV
great.
Personalities ever.
I agree. And you know what? I'm not sure if she's in New York or LA. So if she's in LA,
LA gotta be Los Angeles.
She can record something because of the time difference. We can record it at her leisure. The three of us can go on with her, and Defo can ask her those critical, pointed, deep dive questions.
She knows what's going on. You could tell. She has a good feel for the game. You could look. She goes to a lot of games. She's at every Dodger game. Mary Hart. I really respect that. I love when a likable celebrity is always a presence.
Yeah, no, I
at
agree with
sports
you.
events.
I agree with you.
No, it's
And
great.
did you ever loan Larry King money?
Nobody asked.
Nobody
I mean, I was like an intern at IOD when no, Larry King was long gone from WIOD in South Florida by the time I got here. Because I remember when I was doing late night radio in Corona, California. We used to drive home, and that's when I first encountered Larry King. He was doing an overnight radio show on the Mutual Radio Network, and that was his standard shtick. He would literally say something like, "The book is." The Firm, the author John Grisham. Back with more with John in a moment.
Yeah,
and then he would play the time, like for Johnny Addy, who's fantastic. All right, we're coming back with more Catholic Health Services. Oh, Tony, I can vouch for him. I mean, what they did when my mom was going through the process, unfortunately, she passed away in June, and I got in touch with the people there at Steinberg over at Catholic Health Services. I said, do you guys do by any chance? I know you do a great job with rehab and all of that. And stroke victims especially, and people rehabbing from surgeries and various injuries. But do you do home hospice? And he said, yes, we do. Actually, I was asking him for another place. He said, we do that. And they could not have done a more marvelous job. Services is really the key word there with Catholic Health Services. Service is what they're all about.
Exactly. And you know what? When you talk to the people who work there, the nurses, the therapists, the doctors, the administrators, the people who clean the halls and clean the rooms, when you talk to every one of those people and they tell you how excited they are for where they work and how excited they are to go to work every day and how they love what they do, right there, the battle is won, right? Because Catholic Health Services not only has great people with the expertise that you need to make yourself better and get yourself up and around quicker than anyone would have ever expected, but they have people who go to work with a passion, like I'm excited to go to work every day. And what I think is really cool is you've heard Defo tell the story about what they did for his mother at a very, very, very difficult, stressful time in all of their lives. But they do this every single day for many, many, many families. And they also do something else. They're in the community every day, and they're trying to be proactive to keep everybody healthy so that they don't have to go to Catholic Health Services. So for me, when you bring all of those elements together, you have yourself one award-winning place to go for any kind of rehab. And even if you have a question, they're going to be extremely nice and helpful on the phone and direct you to where you want to go. We are honored to be a part of their family. We are honored that they have been with us since day one of Old School. And God bless you, Jeff, and what they did for you and your mom. And it'll always be remembered. And I'm glad they were there for you at a time when it's probably the most difficult time in your life.
No, great service. I mean, it really was all about that, and you've talked about that, and it sounds like, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, when you're going to call these guys, you're going to hang up the phone and go, yeah, we got another sucker from Tony. Yeah. But it's not that way at all. It's just absolutely fantastic. Jesus. Catholic Health Services. All right, we're coming back with more Old School. Tony Segreto, iconic South Florida broadcaster, known internationally for the critical acclaim he achieved on the George Michael Sports Machine, which he talked about, a forerunner to everything that was going on when it came to playing highlights, which we rely on heavily here in the sports talk business. I'm Jeff DeForest. You got Mike Lubitz, and we're on the Ion channel. You can see the video, ionchannel.com. And the reason I'm looking down so much, I'm looking at how handsome Tony looks here on the show. Right? And my computer is positioned in a weird place. Got to kind of raise it up a little bit so we can address.
By the way, I just heard from Jack Namer. He said we look great.
There you go.
Jack said that?
Yeah. Well, he didn't say you guys look great. He said I look great.
Well, yesterday he sent me a text. He said, hey, your last show was great. And by the way, that was your last show.
Yeah,
which is a standard. No, so we're back here today, and Jack's doing a great job for us. So we're returning with more. Hope you guys are enjoying the program. If you're new to the show, especially glad to have you on board. And those of you in South Florida and that listen to us on the iHeartRadio app for many, many years, happy to have you finding us here on the Ion channel and ionchannel.com. Back in a moment. Now that.
The time.
Thank you, Johnny. It's 8:48.
It's the Gambling Gourmet for Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale. It's one of my favorite places. It is old school joint that's serving Spanish and classic continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly setting. It's at 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. They're open every day except Sunday for dinner, starting at 5 p.m. You go in there, you see Joey and his better half Sally. They are giving the greatest in service. And the food, oh my gosh, it's paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, stuffed veal chop. They serve this great, fantastic, warm sourdough bread. Go to Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale and tell them that the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Buy or lease its house and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat, 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Oh, God.
I love that clip more than anything in the world.
Oh, gosh.
He did sound like Chuck Wepner after the Ali fight there.
Exactly. You know, it
Post-fight
sounded
press
just
conference.
like that. Yeah.
Well, I thought I hit him pretty hard. No, it was great. And it's okay. You were known as Keith Wilkes when you were broadcasting here in South Florida on TV, as smooth as silk whenever it came to the eloquence, the overall Shakespearean-like eloquence that you always expressed. And there you were because you lost a bet.
Yes.
How much money did you have on that, Tony?
Exactly.
Why don't you just transparency?
We're not going to
is what we're all
discuss
about
that. We're not going to discuss that. That's why I may have to call Anna at Deal Volkswagen because like I told you,
You're going to need a deal, man. I mean, no money down, one of those kind of things. Yeah, because you don't have any money. That's usually the main reason to take advantage of that. We might have missed the part where Tony was stammering and yammering about some loss that he incurred, where
Liberty.
he made a prediction on the program. Yeah, Liberty. Give me Liberty or give me death, and they gave you the latter.
Yeah, I got the death for sure.
It's like, oh, holy, was that Nathan Hale?
God, man,
or
that
Bobby
was
Hale,
awful.
the horse trainer? That
was
came
just
up with
awful.
quote.
That was awful.
That was ugliness. All right, Tony Segreto with us, and glad to have you with us here on the Ion Channel, ionchannel.com, if you want to see our ugly faces. And that's broadcasting all around the world. Jack Neymar putting that whole thing together. Turned out to be a fabulous guy. And of course, Brad and all of the team there, we want to give them our sincere thanks for making this happen here. It's happening very quickly and and evolving very, very much in the right direction. I would have to say. At least we
Yeah.
hope so. I hope you guys are enjoying it.
Jack's a great guy, and what they do at Ion is wonderful. He's really involved in the community, and I think it's great. And how quickly they ramp this up. This is awesome. For those of you who don't watch this on video, shame on you. It's pretty cool. This is fun.
I don't blame him for not watching the video at this point. I mean, it's not like we're putting up a picture of the fabulous moolah in the background here. I mean, it's three ugly guys. But anyway, good to have you guys with us, and we're glad we're connected with Ion Channel, and it seems to be moving, as we said, very quickly in the right direction. I did want to talk to you about this, though, Tony. You were mentioning the Los Angeles Dodgers, and my early experiences were as a sports writer in the Los Angeles scene there. And one of the good things about being, even though I was at very obscure newspapers that were well distance from the LA metropolitan area, we're talking about 30 miles outside, we did get to cover a lot of Dodger games, California Angel games, as they were known at the time. I got to see the LA Kings. They had Marcel Dion. The Lakers weren't very good, but they were the beginning, the very beginning of Showtime was happening as I was in my last couple of years there as a newspaper writer. So I got to cover a lot of great stuff. And one of the things that I always remember is what I don't know if it's the case today because I haven't had contact with them for a while, but the Dodgers were always a first-class organization. As I mentioned, I would sit down, as a young guy, I was like 24, 25 years old, writing for some schlepper newspaper that nobody ever heard of. And Tommy Lasorda would sit down with you for like 20 minutes and give you all of the time. I remember Dusty Baker doing that, Steve Garvey, who was not under the kind of scrutiny that came his way later when he was more well-known instead of for the Popeye forearms as Steve Garvey is not my padre.
Yeah.
But it turned out he had fathered more children than Secretariat, which is amazing. But
the Father's Day.
But, I mean, they were really always one of the first-class organizations.
It's
nice to be known as that. I don't know if they still are because they've gone through various ownership changes.
I don't either, but you're absolutely right. I mean, it was when you looked at teams and you would be able to you'd call PR people or whatever the case might be, and you would go, let's call the Dodgers, man. They would get right back to you. They would help you. They were always helpful. They were honest with you.
Yeah.
Like if they couldn't,
you want Maureen Wills? No problem. We'll get for you.
Right,
No,
absolutely. Like if they could get the person for the interview, perfect. If they couldn't, they would tell you, and they would tell you the reason why they couldn't. But try this way. Try next time, calling us a little earlier, whatever the case might be. But I agree with you. They were always extremely easy to deal with, and as someone in the media, all you wanted was to be treated with honesty and treated fairly and not given any BS about, we'll get back to you, and then they never get back to you.
No, there was always, a good vibe around the Dodger organization, and you got the feeling they were first class. I remember getting a letter from the Dodgers on Dodger stationery. I'd sent them some tape in an attempt to get an on-air job with their broadcast team. Of course, I was going to break right in there behind Vince Scully and the great Jerry Dog.
Yeah.
Hey, we got this kid DeForest out of Fontana.
Hey, you know what else, Jeff? You know what else?
Yeah.
Their uniforms, like the Yankee uniform, they're iconic.
Yes.
They're
The
just
stationery was
iconic.
great.
Yeah.
I mean, the stationery, it could have been put together by Marty Sachs. I mean, an embossed emblem, the Dodger symbol.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, my God, but I mean, this paper is worth more than my entire net worth at this point. It was great. No, good organization.
Absolutely, great
organization. A guy
organization.
named Steve Brenner out there was longtime Dodger publicist. And Tommy Lasorda had a big connection here to South Florida with your buddy Ron Frazier.
They were like brothers.
Big influences
they loved
on each other.
Yeah. Absolutely influences on each other. And Ron would bring Lasorda in all the time to have conversations. In my office, I have a beautiful photo of me, Tommy, and Coach Frazier, and it means a lot to me because I got to be able to spend time with those two characters and listen to them and just listen to them. It's sort of like being a fly on the wall and just let them go, and you'll sit there for an hour and not say a word because they'll just go back and forth. It's just fabulous stuff. Just great.
You ever have
memories.
lunch with him? I mean, you and
yeah. Together at Joe's.
Snapped your fingers and got a table
at Joe's. Yeah, absolutely. Before, oh my gosh,
you got the Goodfellas treatment, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They just dropped the table.
They're here. Yeah, exactly. They're here.
Very nice.
Clear the
all right,
path.
Tony, what do you have on tap for the weekend here? I know you're a big college football
Yeah,
fan.
we
Any
have a big
games?
weekend. Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, I think it's going to be another exciting weekend. I think certainly one of the big games will be Notre Dame USC because that's always one of those rivalries that you look
Good
at.
rivalry, great rivalry.
Yeah,
going
just
way back.
one of those great rivalries that you love to see. You want to see how Michigan continues to play. I think that's are they charlatans or are they for real? And I think
How they do in the moment.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Sorry, Tony. No, we're at the end of the show and I'm throwing shots.
I know it's okay. I'm bobbing and weaving, man. I'm just like I'm playing.
Hey, ref, could you stop it? Stop it! It's a killing.
We're gonna throw the flag. We're
All
gonna
right,
throw the rag in for you. So
we
anyway,
got to run. Tony was.
this
great,
has been
man.
great.
Nice run.
Absolutely great.
Yeah.
Well done, guys. Well
Next
done.
time, will
I
you
can't
slide
wait to
down
see
the hill
it.
there? Are you going to need a dog sled to get down to your studio there in Vermont?
I don't know. They're talking about flurries
Snow,
on
baby.
Friday,
Yeah.
maybe. Yep,
All
we'll
right,
see.
very nice.
All right,
you
guys.
look great, Tony. And,
Thank you.
Pay
So
your
do you
bookie, will
guys.
you, so you can take off the disguise. That'll help out a lot next week. Tony Segreto, ladies and gentlemen, Old School, brought to you by Catholic Health Services, Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. Mike Lubie, Lubit's fine job today. Our thanks to Jack Neymar, his crew at On Channel. You can catch us ionchannel.com. If you want to see the video, just click on the Defo Show. It's very simple to do. A lot of people are catching on, and we certainly appreciate that. We'll do it again tomorrow at 7 in the a.m. For Tommy Hutton, who joined us earlier in the program, and Mike Lubie Lubitz, Tony Segreto with Old School, Ed Garcia of Texas Roadhouse. I'm Jeff DeForest. Thanks for listening and tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time as we leave you now that.
The time.
It's 9 o'clock.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my show.
Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come. Championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
Hey there, it's Mike Mayo. Do you like steaks? Do you like seafood? Do you like classic old Florida charm? You could get that all and more at Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of 95. The Studiali family, they've been running the place a long time. It's been there more than 70 years. And it is now a place you can get early bird specials along with steaks to take home and throw on the grill yourself at the Butcher Shop. That's open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. It's open for dinner every night starting at 4:30, but they are closed on Sundays. Go to Tropical Acres. It's a place to go for a great meal, great people, good value. Tropical Acres.
Buy or lease a house and take it to the house. Again, Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Can we talk on here? Deal a call at 305-448-EEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat 24/7. Catholic Health Services.